Hi, this is Below Average Joe here today, and I'm doing a video about some pocket knives I recently got. 2 weeks ago today, on August the 11th, uh, the state legislature passed a bill that was signed by Governor Rauner here in Illinois that made it legal for Illinois citizens to own automatic knives or switchblades, as they're commonly known, if you owned a FOID, F-O-I-D card, which is a firearm owner's ID card. It's not a concealed carry card. It's just a card that legally allows you to own a gun and to buy bullets. And if you're going hunting or whatever, you have to show that you own that you have the card. If you want to get concealed carry training, you have to show you have it. And so anyway, so this meant that basically, if you're a person, who doesn't have a criminal record, and which you need to have a clean record in order to get a FOID card, you could get one. And if you get a FOID card, then you could buy an automatic knife. Now, the thing to know is that if you do buy an automatic knife, you still have to obey local laws. So that means, like in places like Chicago, you probably would need a pretty small automatic like this one here, which is a Protech Sprint, which is a California legal auto, which it has a 1.9-inch blade. And this, by the way, is gosh, I can't get the words out my mouth. S35VN. You can see it right there, S35VN. Now, Protech is a very highly regarded company, although I have to admit, when I got this knife, it was dull. I mean, really dull, gas station knife dull. I could rub it over my hand and not cut myself. Well, I sharpened it up myself. I have a DMT diamond rod, and I sharpened it. Now, if you look, you can probably see where it has some scratches on it. And so I kind of hate that the knife wasn't pristine for very long. But still, it's a user. And it really has been a quite useful knife. I mean, of all of the autos, this is the one that's seen the most use. Now, the other one I bought early on was a Kershaw Launch 2. Now, as you can see, my Launch 2 has the same problem that a lot of launches have. It doesn't consistently lock up, which is a pretty dangerous thing with a new knife with a sharp blade. Now, the thing I have found is that if you point it down like this, if you hold the blade down like this, it locks more consistently. Because I guess it's getting an assist from gravity. Now, from what I understand, if you take it back to Kershaw, send it back to Kershaw, they'll fix it, but the fix doesn't seem to be that consistent. So hopefully Kershaw will re-engineer this knife, because overall it's a very good design, very good steel. Now, it has CPM 154 steel. Hopefully that'll show up there, which is a powder metallurgy version of 154 CM. And so it's made from very good quality steel. It's only a little bit over 3 ounces. And this is kind of a medium-large knife. Put it on the scale here. This is the scale. Let me hold the scale up here. I mean, not the scale, but the ruler. Oh, there we go. Let me get the right end up here. There we go. Now, if we put it on the ruler here, we can see that, I'll just hold it up here for a minute. We can see that the overall length of the knife is a little bit under 8 inches. And the blade itself, now I'll just get this back up here. Let's see, we don't need to see your Frankenstein shirt that much. The blade itself is about 3 1/4 inches. So it's on the small side of big, in my opinion. I mean, generally speaking, for me, smaller knives are 3 inches and under. And a big knife is I'd say really 3 1/2 inches. So like a 3 1/4 inch, 3 1/3 inch knife is kind of a tweener for me. It's not really big, but it's not little either. But anyway, this is a good knife. I mean, it was only $80 some odd. And although, let's see, that lock didn't catch again. Although that inconsistent locking is annoying, overall, it's a good enough knife that I would keep it. But I will say that you have to be careful of it, because it's that's just the danger. Now, probably the one that is just right for me, and all these are scratched because I actually carry them, is another Protech I bought, which is the Protech P2 Strider. Now, this is a smallish knife. The whole blade, which includes a sharpening choil plus a finger choil, is 2 3/4 inches, but the actual cutting edge is 2.25 inches. Like, for instance, I wanted to get a Microtech Mini UDT, but since this knife is only a little bit bigger than the Mini UDT, I really don't need one now. This Strider Protech combination is good enough by itself. Now, the thing that's really nice about this knife, it's very light. It's 2.5 ounces, and it really has a well-designed handle. This handle here, now I have fairly large hands. Now, the camera angle is making my little hands look huge, but they're fairly large. But this knife is designed that it fits the hand very comfortably. You know, you have the finger choil here, and then you have all this back here, and so it's a very comfortable knife to use. Now, this little one is comfortable to use too, but you know, it's like basically a 3-finger grip, or you know, really almost kind of a 2.5-finger grip, depending on how much you choke up on the blade. It's really interesting because, you know, I compare it to another really favorite knife of mine, which I kind of consider letting go, but I think I'm going to hold on to it, which is a Zero Tolerance 0900. Now, I love this knife because, you know, for a ball bearing flipper, it's really fast, and then it's also 2.75 inches. It's under 3 inches. The only downside is it's a bit chunky, but it's really interesting because this knife, you know, does not quite have as comfortable a handle as the Protech. You know, the Protech is a smaller knife, but it has a relatively big handle. It has a relatively big handle in compared to the blade. And I know some people, like, for instance, a guy I really enjoy because he's kind of funny, Nick Shabazz, he always complains about big handles. But I'm of the opinion that a relatively big handle is actually a pretty good thing. This knife here has a relatively small handle for its size, and it's not nearly as comfortable. I mean, I like it a lot, but, you know, it's so cool, I deal with it, but it's not nearly as comfortable. But anyway, that's just kind of a rundown of my autos. Have a good day.